humans, cultures, and multicultures. As I went out to get some food, I find the multicultural society of Great Britain is doing what they know. So, culture means, has anyone ever paid attention to what culture means? It's a behavior in any given circumstances, or how the behavior has shaped according to the environment. Multicultural means there are several facets or several tiers and several ways of how people behave and how they relate to the way they are brought up. Are they brought up? No. How they relate their way of life to the circumstances surrounding them. What education do they receive? Was the education relevant to the environment they lived? Or was the education imported from America, Britain, Europe, or elsewhere? Multicultural means that all actions are perfectly normal to where they come from. All the actions are what they know. So today's society, when we find ourselves in a situation where our lives are pretty much threatened, our planet is pretty much threatened, and the very way of our life is threatened, the way we have lived for millennia and for centuries. Today, with the help of smart devices and technology, people are looking up to a way of life which seems to be the way of life of America, or way of life of Britain or Europe, or the way of life of the Western world. They have wholly and solely forgotten the very way the life has evolved on this planet over the centuries, over the millennia, over the millions of years, how the human being has evolved. In the last 50 years, we've propelled our development and our comforts and convenience to a level that has compromised the planet's survival and our survival in turn. So culture, multicultural, how beautiful is it for us to all be as one? Yet, have you all lived as one? Have you all projected the values and the conscious responsibilities of being a human being? Has that been the education? No. Different parts of the land evolved in different levels of consciousness. The Western society showed the way to the rest of the world by fixing the outside. You seems affluent, and you are healthy, and you're well, and you're rich. It seems the richness of the monetary value seems to be the culprit in losing the human values and the human consciousness and the human behavior as a whole. So is that the money that has caused the problem that we face today? Or the Western values of democracy was exported around the world and shown how the democracy work? Is that the failure? Or is that the religious values that was exported around the world, in turn saying there's a super creation beyond what we can as a human being do? And is that being the problem? Or is that being one political value against the other? Or is that the one religious value against the other that shaped the cultures? Or is that the poverty, the comforts and convenience that causes the difference? Is that the education or the no education that created the differences and the way of different cultures, how they evolved and how they behaved? Is this why? Why have we become so fragmented, so divided, so split, so confused, and so much in suffering? It's only because all of those ideas that was meant to enhance the human experience and create a well-being and sense of responsibility and consciousness for individuals, as for the planet itself, has constantly failed. That failure is what we are facing today, with one simple problem, with a minuscule problem on a very small space of land on this planet. A virus, an invisible, unable to detect, unable to understand, unable to see, unable to feel, unable to taste, unable to hear through our five senses, is causing devastation and taking lives and livelihood and readjusting the way we conduct. And in that, people are creating this one problem into a multitude of problems, which is causing even more of a suffering and pain and divide, and struggling to achieve a common goal, common solution for the human survival and the well-being of the entire humanity, because we are the only ones who are affected from this situation. The planet has been destroyed by us. Yes, it has been turned into a bonfire, reduced of life. The air has been polluted. The water that we touch and drink and bathe with is contaminated. The soil is contaminated, polluted, and poisoned. The food that we eat is old and unhealthy. With this, the planet that provided us the pureness of life has been completely raped and abused and tortured and burned and caused to collapse or caused to suffer. Suffering is yet to come unless we are conscious enough to be responsible of our actions. As an individual, you and I, and all the beings, all the human beings, the human species on this planet, for our survival. It is not your politics. It is not your rich attributes or your selfish, greedy understanding about your self-interest. It is your important step that you take inward and becoming a responsible human being to make a planet a living, breathing, surviving, and supporting life form for all beings and all creatures and all life here on earth. It's one thing looking to explore and go beyond the earth's surface to other planets, but not at the cost of our planet. It is time that we all see the possibility that we can make an immense impact of changing the way we live and changing the way we conduct ourselves to become a responsible and a conscious human being. The culture of multicultural is not the problem. It's the relevant education for us to all, as one being, one species on this planet, to be able to understand each other, work towards one direction, for no profit to any, but service to all attitude should be the core and the very foundation of everything we do here on earth today. By walking out on the street, the way human beings are conducting themselves, every sphere of life, when they go out, when they interact, when they're at work, when they're at prayer, when they're at politics, when they're at commerce, everything seems to be at loggerhead. It seems that everyone is fighting for their own good, unable to see the goodness of the planet and the people that they're working in intention of well-being and health, or health and well-being. Today, we have a real challenge facing us. From one small problem, we multiplied into a faceted, multifaceted, complicated, most confusing of problems that human beings are facing today. Isn't it time that you wake up, that the problems that comes at you, you turn them into possibilities and solutions, and make yourself seen as a solution rather than creating multiple problems? Be in politics, be in religion, be it commerce, be it in science, be it in whatever the field of profession or whatever the field of your connection to life and your contribution to life of this planet and the people of the planet and all other life on the planet. May that work be profound and be the change that you convert all of the challenging situations into making a lasting solution for us here on earth, and lasting solutions that can work for the betterment and the health and well-being of the planet and the human beings. May your strength and health be your fundamental foundation of understanding, and your strength should focus you on making the things that are beneficial to all. Thank you.